Hey guys, Dre here, back at it once again with a brand new episode of Dre TV for you, talking about all the things in motorsport with some motorsport related stuff in the background. And it's been a little while since I've done a MotoGP episode. I know I kind of missed the review of the Spanish Grand Prix, and the reason for that is because, well, one, I was kind of in the middle of a very busy period of university coursework for me to take care of, and it kind of got pushed to the wayside. And two, there wasn't really an awful lot to talk about in Jerez. Jorge Lorenzo pretty much dominated the entire race, which is kind of the point of this episode, really. Jorge Lorenzo dominated. Marc Marquez didn't have an answer for him in second. Valentino Rossi took an easy third. And Lorenzo just pretty much crushed the field because he's the king of Jerez and he's won there 5 times now. What a bastard, basically. In Moto 2, Jonas Folger surprised everybody by actually having enough race pace to win outright for once. Tito Rabat kind of got shoved into third place by the combination of Johan Zarco and Alex Rins thinking he's Valentino Rossi at Jerez 2005. Which, ironically, Fabio Quartararo tried the exact same trick into that final corner in Moto 3, trying to take out Danny Kent, failed, and Kent got the win, Quartararo coming home in 4th. So yeah, not really an awful much to talk about from Jerez, really. It was kind of a mediocre weekend except for Moto 3. Again, same kind of deal in this race weekend at Le Mans as well. In MotoGP, it was another Jorge Lorenzo dominant performance, really. You know, Lorenzo he took the whole shot from third on the grid. He was really pissed off at himself for his qualifying performance, even though he qualified on the front row, which is actually kind of above average for a factory Yamaha these days. They don't tend to qualify well, but you know, we all know that Lorenzo's biggest asset is his race pace, and once again he showed that with a dominant performance from start to finish. Took the whole shot into turn 1. Dovizioso tried to keep up for the first half of the race, but Gicali just faded towards the end. Valentino Rossi making it a very, very straightforward 1-2 for Yamaha ahead of the Gicalis at 3 and 5. Marc Marquez struggled. He put together an unbelievable qualifying lap to essentially take pole position by half a second, which was just another astonishing Marquez lap. But on the whole, in the race they struggled, and the reason why was because Honda admitted that because of the nature of the weekend, it was a very cold weekend in Le Mans, a lot of rain as well in between sessions, damp tracks, and just general speaking, not a lot of optimal running. So Honda was caught out by this. The warmer temperatures apparently favoured the Yamahas, and because Honda weren't able to get any test running in the warmer climates, the Honda riders pretty much all struggled. Crutchlow binned it, Redding binned it, Pedrosa binned it on his first race back from arm pump surgery, and Marquez struggled on the front. So essentially, it was a situation where all the Honda riders really didn't have a good day of it, apart from Marquez, and even he struggled on the front, and Marquez finished 20 seconds behind Jorge Lorenzo's race time. If there was a one plus to this, it did mean we had an incredible friggin' scrap between Marc Marquez and Andrea Iannone. If you haven't seen it, go on BT Sports Twitter page, and they put the highlights of the race up on there, and there was a 2-lap colossal scrap between Marc Marquez and Andrea Iannone, the 2 former Moto2 rivals going head-to-head. In a brilliant one-on-one dogfight. Just tremendous racing from Iannone and Marquez that pretty much saved the entire Grand Prix from being a complete bore-fest. Because, you know, Keith Ewan likes to take shots at Formula 1, but yeah, MotoGP can be boring sometimes too, and if I'm honest, the last 2 races for MotoGP have not been that great. It's been Formula 1 levels of quality, even though Catalunya wasn't all that great either. Like, Formula 1's had a couple of stinkers too, but MotoGP, like, that was about a 6 out of 10 Grand Prix for me, really. Like, it would have been a 5 if it wasn't for the Marquez-Iannone fight, because besides that, there was nothing, really. Nothing to really report. But, you know, so the top result was Lorenzo, Rossi, Dovizioso on the podium again. I mean, Dovi's having a very consistent season again, and he's punching above his weight on that Gicali. Marquez 4th, Iannone 5th, and Bradley Smith beating his teammate again by about 10 seconds. Bradley Smith beating the factory-supported Pol Espargaro. It looks like Bradley Smith's really stepped it up this season, and I'm glad that we've got, you know, another real British threat. I mean, Crutchlow and Smith there's only a point between them at the moment, so the Brits doing quite well, except for Redding, that seems to be struggling at the moment. maybe he wasn't ready for a factory bike of that caliber just yet. In Moto 2, it was a dominant win, really, by Thomas Luthi, of all people. Bit of a surprise on that one, really, because Luthi's Luthi's a top tier player, but he's not been at his best lately because of him getting used to the Cadex chassis, because he used to be a Suter runner. And, Luthi winning races is not a surprise. He's been doing that for a little while now, and he did so a couple of times. Like the second half of last season, Luthi was just as good as Rabat, quite frankly. Getting up there, getting in Rabat's face and winning the occasional race, and that's what he did again here. He was the fastest guy in the track by a country mile, shattered the lap record in the process, and won by just over 2.5 seconds in the end. It was just a dominant performance from Luthi from start to finish. Rabat finishes in second. Rabat's a metronome. He likes to go out and just set lap after lap after lap within 0.2 of the other one. Just ultra consistent. That's what he's always been. And he beat out Johann Zarco, whose tyres severely faded at the end of the race. And Zarco, at least he got on the podium for the home fans at Le Mans. So not a bad result for Zarco, who actually, I think, extends his championship lead. Now Luthi's in second place. I think he's 21 points behind now or something like that. Zarco was third and Sam Lowe's in fourth place. It was a dreadful race for Alex Rins, who was championship leader just a couple of rounds ago. He's now had back-to-back races out of the points. He was in the leading group, but in leading the fight for fifth between him, his teammate Louis Salom, Franco Morbidelli, and I think Taka Nakagami and Julian Simon were all in that second pack in the battle for fifth, until Rins binned it, and he was able to get back on the bike, but he finished in 17th place. So for the second consecutive race, Rins has made a mistake and has binned his bike, and it's a shame, because maybe we've overestimated Rins just a little bit given his current ability, because he has such a brilliant start, but he's had now back-to-back races where he's been out of the points, which is a shame. And of course, no Moto2 race would be complete without a Louis Salom hissy fit. He kind of rode the back of Morbidelli's rear tyre, hit the deck, and then, because his airbag's gone off, Salom's moaning looked like he was being the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was just hilarious in its own right. No race is complete without a Louis Salom bitch fit, because he loves that. Doubly worse for Salom, because it was his 100th Grand Prix. So yeah, Moto2 was kind of a flat as well, to be honest, but Moto3 again stole the show. It was a topsy-turvy grid because of a wet qualifying session, so all the guys only really had time for one banker lap to set out there, basically, and Fabio Quartararo was able to get on pole position during his home Grand Prix, despite the fact he smashed his hand up by hitting the deck 2 laps later in qualifying. But Fabio actually ended up dropping it. He lost the rear end and hit the deck again during that Grand Prix. So not the best day at the office for the French boys. It was actually Romano Fenati who started from 5th and pretty much controlled the race from start to finish. He was passed a couple of times, but he always seemed like he was a cut above everybody else. The scrap was for behind him, quite frankly. And with Antonelli fading back a little bit, it was Enea Bastianini who had another really great performance from 17th on the grid, I think it was, to finish in 2nd. Putting off a couple of really brave passes right at the end of the Grand Prix to get that 2nd place. So Enea Bastianini in 2nd, Francesco Bagnaia for the Mahindra in 3rd. Mahindra's best performance since last season. And Bagnaia's career high finish in his first Moto3 podium. And to everybody's surprise, Danny Kent in 4th place from 31st on the grid. A truly incredible performance from Danny Kent, and it was the ride of a true champion to basically make it up 27 places from where you started on the grid. If that doesn't tell you a lot about the state of Danny Kent in Moto3 this season, I don't know what does. He's been riding astonishingly well so far this season, and he absolutely deserves to be championship leader right now, because all the other top contenders besides Bastianini all seem to be taking points out of each other at the moment, and that's only going to make Danny Kent's title crusade look even better at the moment. He's looking absolutely phenomenal right now. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do in Moto2 again with a proper team, hopefully, because right now there's a lot of Moto2 seats up for grabs, given the topsy-turvy nature of that class more than anything else, and Danny Kent is killing it right now in Moto3. I mean, if you can qualify 31st and still finish 4th and was only a second off the win, then you must be doing something right. But yeah, right now it's looking like the top class momentum is all over the place at the moment. I mean, there's no standout favourite for me in MotoGP at the moment. We all know Marquez can win any given Grand Prix. Jorge Lorenzo looks back to his best with 2 phenomenal performances in the last 2 rounds. Valentino Rossi's not giving up very many points, and neither is Andrea Dovizioso. I mean, sleep on him all you like, but his consistency is alarming at the moment. He's had the one bad race in Jerez, but Ducati are real in terms of their pace at the moment, and you know they look a lot better than last year. And if they can keep it going, they can steal some podiums here and there. So Marquez is not going to have it all his own way, and that might be a good thing for the championship. And if Yamaha seamless gear shifters really made their bike better, because Yamaha have won 4 out of the 5 races so far this season, could we be seeing shades of 2009 and a Valentino Rossi Jorge Lorenzo title fight? Interesting to see. But let me know what you've been thinking of MotoGP lately. I'd love to hear your thoughts as always, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'm Andre Harrison. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. Project Cars back tomorrow. Until then, sayonara.